Hello, Facebook, family and friends. I have gathered myself spiritually together to get ready to get back into spreading His truth and His gospel that has to hit all four corners of the earth. As I left a YouTube video some months ago about my status in life, I am now presenting myself back into the spiritual realm, because time is winding up and we do need to prepare for end times. And He do have vessels that He use to forewarn the world of peoples about what is to come. And I know I am one of them, along with several others. But you know, being a human, we can fall short and try to get back up and go through a lot of tests and trials. But now that I'm ready and I'm suited and I have my whole armor of Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, Lord God, and Yahshua, as the word calls Jesus, I have placed myself back into His arms and prepared myself and girded myself with His whole armor. Let's get started. If you looked at my last video, I was telling you all that it's time for us to prepare. It's time for us to prepare for these end times that's near and are really truly here. If can't nobody see what's going on, it's because you are blind and you are walking like a zombie, dead unto the world. You may be living naturally, but spiritually you're dead. And when you overlook and don't pay attention to what's around you because you're mind programmed, you're too caught up into music, promiscuity, sex, drugs, money, fame, etc., you're not going to pay attention to small people such as me and others that are spreading the truth. I mean, even if you're caught up into this carnality belief called Christianity, religion, and any other religion that's leading you astray, you will not pay attention to the truth, because the truth is going to sound stranger than fiction. And fiction is what has kept us mind boggled and mind programmed to the point that when people like me and others bring into the truth, you don't take heed to it. You think we're conspiracy theorists or in some type of a cult or some type of other belief, and we're the ones not caught in belief. We're the ones who are caught in the truth. He already said that He was going to bring people out in the end times to bring about His prophecy, men and women and young children, paraphrasing. So let's get prepared and wake up to reality and come up out of this mindset of games. Because that's what Satan has did. He has caused a lot of Yahshua's people, or for those who think they're His true people, to get caught up in mind-programmed games, AI systems, technology that's leading you astray. Yes, we do, as social media presenters, use technology, but we know when and how to use this technology. Using it against evil, even though it's supposed to be meant for evil, but we're using this same technology against evil. When you look at what we need to buy and do to prepare for perilous times, as you can see, there are a list of things I have here that needs to start being bought. And if this is still available, it's probably high now. I was told by an ex-co-worker I used to work with, like I say, he called it doomsday. But for us spiritually, we know it's called the end times and the apocalypse. He told me about this particular website. And he told me to start buying these silver and gold coins before the value of them increased. Well, as of today, 2024, July 27th, 2024, the value of these coins in silver and gold have increased. When he first showed me this video probably about two years ago at the max, these coins were way less expensive. It has raised up in value now. But I am showing it to you regardless to let you know that he was saying, and I have heard other people speaking on this even after I spoke with him, to start buying things such as these, because this is going to come into great value during the end times. So if you look, pause the video and pay attention, this is something you want to buy or get on the website to look into and start buying. If I'm not mistaken, this is another link as well that he took me to. And I wouldn't doubt that the value has gone up on this one as well. And it has. The silver and the gold has gone up in value since the two years or so that I have spoke with him. It was way cheaper than this. Way cheaper. Okay? But try these two links out. Like I say, pause the video and look into this. Because after a while, yes, this society is going to become a cashless society. It is. But for those such as me and others who know what to prepare for and know how to trade, we know that this right here that I'm showing you, this gold and this silver, is going to come in handy during those perilous, catastrophic times. Okay? Here's another one. Look, check this one out. I think this one was just all about silver, if I'm not mistaken. I think this was a link on silver, purchasing silver. No, it's also for purchasing bronze and copper. Yeah, copper. So as you can see, these copper ones are a little less expensive. But I'm just showing you and sharing these links with you again. Please pause the video, write these links down if you need to get ready to prepare for these perilous times, because it may not seem like it now, but these type of materials will come into handy. Trust and believe these type of materials will come into handy. Now, what I also want y'all to pay attention to, what he showed me when I was showing you right here, he was also saying to be wary and understand that copper will eventually be more valuable really soon due to the wiring and infrastructure once silver and gold play out. But it's still available. But eventually copper is going to be of value as time go along. And he told me why. And if you see right here, I got it listed. Electrical wiring, drinking glasses, electrical cars. He even said survival kits. You can purchase those off of Amazon or Walmart or wherever you see these supplies at. Start preparing. Think about the days of Noah. People laughed at Noah because he was preparing a boat, as you could possibly imagine, in the middle of a desert. And people was probably trying to figure out, why is this man building a boat in the middle of a desert area? Yahshua was having him to prepare for that time near dealing with the flood. But you can imagine, back in the days, people were probably laughing at this guy. And at the same time, Noah was trying to forewarn them that what was to come. And they were probably laughing at him, mocking him, taunting him, thinking he was crazy or out of his head. No different than what's going on in modern day time. We're trying to tell people of how to prepare and of what is to come. And we're being overlooked and mocked at and laughed at and taunted at. Our videos are not being shared enough. People are not subscribing as much to videos or channels such as mine. Now, you may have others that do have a higher subscribed viewer list. But I'm just saying, even aside from that versus other channels getting millions and millions of subscribers, you have people such as me who like to spread the truth via social media and being overlooked. No different than Noah being laughed and mocked at. All because he was spreading the truth and trying to forewarn people what is to come. And when it came, what did they do? Run to his aid. But the doors were shut and it was too late. It's no different except for we're in a modern day time full of technology and other evil things and schemes versus Noah's them day, which was awful too. But even Joshua said our days are worse. I think our days are even worse than Sodom and Gomorrah back in the biblical times. Paraphrasing what he spoke of in the Bible. Prepare. Now, I know it's going to seem crazy too, but you see this right here? Definitely work on buying land and begin to learn how to garden. Why? Why? Because like my ex-co-worker was telling me a couple of years back, they're talking about stopping farmers from farming. They're talking about stopping them from farming. Okay? Not only that, explain to us why Bill Gates is buying up most of America's land. It's because it's an agenda. Yep. Think about what this little boy right here looking like, huh? What the freak? It's an agenda. How did Bill Gates go from being a CEO of Microsoft to a philanthropist to creating vaccines and now to buying up so much land and wanting to become this farmer? How and why? Bill Gates, he goes from computer technology and that type of wisdom to becoming a philanthropist, to creating vaccines, and now he wants to become a farmer and buy up all the land. It's an agenda, folks. Wake up. Wake up. Get out of Facebook wanting to do AI faces and what you call it when you want to change your face. Them I can't even think of the name of it right now. I don't fool with that stuff. Them filters. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Come out of that stuff. Get into reality. Come out of that indulgence of yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with taking pictures. Now, don't get me wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with taking selfies and pictures. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But when you overindulge in it, that becomes a problem. Just FYI. Yeah, people may think I'm trying to nitpick or think I'm judging. No, I'm telling the critical, honest truth. It's okay. We take pictures, I get it. But when you self-indulge in it and you overindulge in it, and it becomes an idol, even though you may not realize it or not. Come out of that type of technology and get into the realm of technology that's trying to show you the truth. Wake up to what's going on around you. Okay? And I'm even talking to those who are so-called believers. Wake up to what's going on around you. Please. Alright? Now, if you look right here to the bottom right, I said, why is it? Or what is this agenda about? Well, it's because they, and if you look, I got that highlighted in red and underlined, they're planning on stealing and storing up for themselves. Possibly now as we speak. Which, now mind you, I did this PowerPoint, was it last year or either at the beginning of this year? So anything I'm talking about now was pertaining to the beginning of this year or sometime last year. Whenever I put out the part 1 is when it was present day time. Even up until now on what I'm speaking on and will be speaking on. These people, these elites, Bill Gates and his crew, or Bill Gates and the crew, they know what's about to come about. And because they know what's about to come about, they're trying to keep us blinded. And what did I speak on earlier with money, fame, sex, media, entertainment, music? They're trying to keep AI technology, staying on Instagrams, Facebooks, TikToks, Twitters. If you're going to be on that stuff, be on it for a validated reason, not for nothing in vain. Be on it because you're trying to spread the truth. Or you're trying to do something in a positive way and bring about positive energy. not for nothing else silly. And I'm not saying I don't look at some of the stuff and laugh at it, because I do for entertainment. But I don't indulge in it. I don't indulge in it. I got a Facebook page I haven't been on. For those who are getting ready to see this video, this would be almost my first time. How long since I've been on Facebook and posted to give an update of a presentation I'm placing on YouTube? I don't be on that stuff like that. At one time, I was overindulging in it, and it started messing with me emotionally. From looking at other people's Facebook stories and lives. Looking from the outside in. Wishing, wondering, almost coveting. Stay off of that stuff. Get into your word. Study, meditate, day and night. Before you lay down, when you arise. Throughout the day, speak his word. That's what he mean when he tell us to meditate. He know we got a life to live. He knows this. But he also wants us to know how to balance out our spiritual with our natural. Now, back to what I was saying dealing with Bill Gates and the crew, which is the Illuminati system. And for those who are caught up in it, yeah, I said it. They know what's about to go, or they know what's about to come. So what they're doing is keeping us blindsided. And while we're blindsided, they're buying up pieces of farmlands, telling the farmers to stop farming. And I'll show you in the next slide or two why they trying to all of a sudden tell farmers to stop farming with this unnecessary lie. So they can buy up what they can to get ready to produce what they've already produced and probably have for years now. It's just being more exposed because time is winding up. If you got the money and if you want to invest in something as an asset or invest in something that you know is worth living for or having even down in generations to come for your family, buy some land. Buy some land. Buy some land and learn how to garden and farm, because I want to even learn how to garden and farm. Buy some land. Now, not only do you need to buy what I showed you dealing with silver and gold and copper and etc. and land and survivor kits. He threw me a curveball when he said, as a matter of fact, Crystal, you're going to want to use drinking alcohol, cigarettes, and lighters as an asset, because people going to be wanting to have it and can't get their hands on it when it get disastrous. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to indulge in buying cigarettes and alcohol just to make money and make trades during that time. I'm not doing it, but I'm just being honest with what he referred me to do. Of course, he said get plenty of gas cans and fill them up. He said get plenty of guns and ammunition. He says no permit is required, but it's limitations when carrying ammunition and guns. Well, you know they had it where it was okay to carry it. Now they're getting to the point where they're restricting it, or you can carry it, but as he say, it's restrictions to it. I'll show you a video that's showing you ain't got to have those type of things for weaponry. There are other things you can use for weaponry. Because you're going to, believe it or not, you're going to need it. If you ain't never looked at the movie Purge and looked at The Walking Dead, they already know, the Illuminati system and the elites already know what's about to come. And they take the truth and put it in entertainment so we can look at it as entertainment and don't take heed to what's truly about to come. Again, I just said truth is stranger than fiction. What they are putting in these movies, they're telling us what's about to go on. They're telling us what we're about to see. The things that we've never seen before in real life will soon cross over into this realm, which I already have. And you're gonna look at it as a joke. And it's not a joke, it's reality. Store up foods that are non-perishable and collect plenty of spices for distasteful foods. Yeah, collect that too. Anything that you're living off of household-wise, as a resource, you're going to want to collect additional things and put it to the side. Salt, pepper, band-aids, can openers, scissors, you name alcohol. Women need feminine products and menstrual pads. That's stuff that we need to be stocking up on, not just for present day, but even for the future. Because trust and believe, those who are listening, we're going to need these things. And again, I'm going to show you a video on how this guy broke it down for you to better understand why. Now, I also want to show you some things that he showed me. If you got dry beans that you want to stash up, that's not already in the bag, or if you got a big bulk of beans, big industrial sized beans, and you want to stock up, you want to buy the absorbers to stash inside those zipper bags. I think I'm gonna show you the zipper bags on another link. But you're gonna want to buy these absorbers to put inside your Ziploc, as I call them, your Ziploc bags, to keep those beans and those dry perishables fresh. I think these are it. The storage little bags. These little bags, I just showed it to you. These are the little bags. You're going to want to buy them to stash your dry beans in, or whatever you want to stash, mainly your non-perishable, especially your dry beans and foods, and use those absorbers to keep it fresh. If you think about it, isn't that what stores use now? Those little packets. When you open up certain things, they got those little packets sitting inside of them. Those are absorbers to keep moisture out, keep things fresh. Again, please feel free to pause these videos. Please feel free to pause it and write down the links. Okay? Even this, buying this is helpful. That video that I'm telling y'all about will show you why it's helpful. But buying this is even helpful. You can get this, as you can see, you can get this off of Amazon. Buying this is going to be helpful for in the future. Okay? Buying this for lighting is going to be helpful for in the future. And candles as well. So I'm showing y'all these things to let y'all see, as you can see, currently unavailable. But of course, you know you can scroll down and find others to buy. But you will see later on in the future that this stuff is important. It's important. Okay? Now, this is the one that I want to show y'all. Okay, I'm going to show you snippets of this video because it's a long video. So I'm going to show you snippets of it. But I'm asking that you please take heed to what I'm showing you and listen to what this guy is talking about, dealing with end times and knowing how to prepare for it. Let me see if I can get that zoomed in the way I want to get it zoomed in. And again, you all know, for those who have been watching my videos and for those who haven't, I record live. So I edit some things and some things I do not edit because I record live. And I kind of edit my own stuff. So you will see some mishaps. You may see some crookedness in the video. You may see some blurriness in the video that I try to fix and edit. But just keep that in mind that I do record live and I fix my own stuff. I'm not a professional, but I do what I can. So please bear with my quality of videos and formats as you all pay attention to what I try to show you. Let me see if I can. Alrighty, here we go.
I keep saying that actually are able to see what is coming. I don't believe that to be an accident or coincidence. I believe our eyes are open so we can be prepared. And even if our supplies and preparations aren't for us, they may be resources that others may need so they can get through. When Joseph learned of the drought that was coming to Egypt through his dreams, he didn't say, "Don't do anything." No, Father showed him steps that they were to take that was going to keep them alive. Joseph was able to help preserve his family and Israel because of it. Noah wasn't told about a flood and expected to do nothing. He prepared an ark with food and preparations so that his family could survive. If you feel danger coming, doing nothing does not prove your faith unless that is what Father told you to do.
Now keep in mind, this guy had already said, no different than what I spoke of with Noah. And he said even something dealing with Joseph and that dry famine back in his days. They prepared for it. They got the faith in Yahushua HaMashiach, but they also used their common sense which Yahshua them have provided us to prepare for what was coming. Now, like he just said, don't get it twisted that if you prepare for those, that means you're faithless. Don't get that twisted. And like he was just saying, unless Father told you to do something different, use your common sense that he has blessed you with and prepare for the times that's coming. That does not mean if you prepare that you're being faithless. That means that you're pretty much being smart to know when that time get here, you have prepared and used the resources that he has given you enough knowledge to have and have provided for in the future. But that doesn't mean to actually rely on it. Okay? Don't actually rely on it as if it's your God. But you're using these as resources to prepare for the end times. No different than how he had Joseph them stock up for that dry famine and drought. No different than how he had Moses build an ark, most likely in the middle of the wilderness or desert. He was having them prepare for the times that were coming. So don't get that, like he said, keep in mind. Do not get that twisted in saying, okay, you're faithless and you don't believe he's going to provide for you. He's telling you and showing you and telling you through even people such as this guy here. His website is Truth Unedited. If you want to look at some of his other videos. This is not, I have no copyrights. I'm just showing you other people's, knowledge. But he is Truth Unedited. And if you look, it says, we know the collapse is coming. This is how we prepare for it. Look it up for yourself and look at the whole video. I don't take no credit in this video or any other videos I have shown. Whether it's been with the Illuminati, I do not take no copyrights or credit to those videos. That's why I try to give y'all the names and the titles so you can go look it up for yourself. But this guy, it's pretty decent. Truth Unedited is his website or his YouTube channel name. And one of his links right here is We Know the Collapse is Coming. This is how we prepare for it. Go look it up for yourself and look at the whole thing. I'm just showing you snippets. But again, like he just said, and I totally, honestly, wholeheartedly agree with this guy. Do not get it twisted if you're preparing and think that means you're being faithless. No, it's meaning you're really being smart. Let's keep going.
Proverbs chapter 22 verse 3 says, a prudent man foresees evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So, in your preparations, you must start with Messiah and putting your faith and trust in him. Your faith should not be in your supplies or preparations, but they can be a resource. Now, after you have taken care of placing our Father in the priority and letting him lead and guide you, or at least you understand how important that is and are working on it, then you can start at your preparations if you are led to. Now, before I go into the advice I have, let me share my mindset because that's important. For me personally, I have not been given a mindset to prepare for the full 7 years. Maybe that is just for me and my family. If Father is telling others something different. This advice is about withstanding the first blows of the collapse so that you do not feel pressured into moving out of desperation. I can't tell you how things will happen. I know how they have been showing us in the movies.
About it, okay? First, the stock market would go. Then, the economy, boom! The dollar, boom! And then pandemonium in the streets. War, genocide, boom, boom, boom!
But I don't know how things will play out in reality. I just have expectations, and it's those things that I'm preparing for. Now, I don't personally believe there is a right or wrong answer for being prepared for this coming world. My main piece of advice in wondering how to prepare is to listen to Father. Everyone in the world is different. We live in different areas, have different abilities, different purposes or callings, different means and resources, etc. And only Father understands this completely. He may be telling you to prepare and stock up on items, while he may be telling another to stay free and mobile and ready to move.
Now you heard what he just said even from the last time I paused the video. He simply said, it might not be meant for everybody to prepare. Joshua might tell one person, well, you need to stay on the move. While he tell this one, you see, everybody might not have to do what this guy is suggesting, excuse me. But in general, what he's saying is be prepared. And don't get it twisted. Don't allow these resources to be your source. Still Yahushua HaMashiach, as the world calls Jesus the Messiah, he is still your source. But he's also given us enough common sense, knowledge, and wisdom to know how to prepare and know how to stay a step ahead with the guidance of the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach HaKodesh. Let's keep going.
Maybe he is telling you to stock up not for yourselves, but for the others you have been warning, and that they may need your preparations in order to get through. I don't know. That's why it's all about his will and walking in it. So this subject is not a rule book. My thoughts are in no way the rule book or the way. I just want to provide practical advice and understanding from my vantage point. Let me first break down my mental preparations for the times ahead. I expect war and economic collapse. The war part, I believe, will go quickly, with instant destruction of major nations. Highly populated countries that have like 1 billion people, I expect something that drastically reduces that population size. In the United States, I expect an EMP here. Major cities will go dark with no power.
Keep in mind, the guy that I told you about, the one that called us Doomsday, he called out EMP. I forgot what that meant, but he said that is coming to the USA. Do know that there will be another war, and it's going to be worse than ever before. If you bear with me, I will be discussing this war because it is literally spoken of in the Bible. Even if it's in symbolic terms, it is spoken in the Bible about the new war that's coming, which will most likely be World War III, because we've had World War I and World War II. So the next World War will be World War III. It is spoken in his word. You have probably read these particular scriptures once we get there and not even realize that he was talking about World War III. But this EMP or this EMP, yes, the guy that I'm telling you about or talked about earlier in my presentation, he told me that it's coming as well. It's going to cause darkness just out the blue. The USA is going to go in pure pitch black darkness, going to lose technology, all that cellular, all that is going to get gone. So when I heard this guy speaking on it in this video, I said, my goodness, my co-worker on point. He is on point. You know, he was ex-military, ex-army, so I know he know a lot of stuff. But it was just crazy, you know. I no longer work with this guy, but it's crazy. It's crazy.
Those are my expectations. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm a prophet that can see in the future. So please don't place those labels on me. Things could happen in a very different way entirely. So what happens is not as important as what the consequences of what happens is. And regardless of what the spark to the fire is, once it's set, there are specific things that I am expecting and planning for. First thing is for the supermarkets and gas stations to go dry in the first 24 to 48 hours. Also, we'll see banks close to prevent bank runs, and all money in banks are held. More than likely, the money will be converted into crypto at ridiculous values to give people fractions of what they could have brought earlier. When people find that they don't have access to their money and prices for food have skyrocketed, they will take to the streets and there will be massive chaos and unrest. Last year, from the George Floyd protest, we have seen what that could look like, but it was much more controlled. When the collapse happens, it will not be. After the chaos starts, that's where martial law is ordered, and FEMA will be activated in the United States. This emergency management group may have a different name in your country if you aren't in the United States.
Yes, FEMA is coming. That's why a lot of Walmarts are being shut down. These Walmarts that are being structured and yet shut down are setting up for the preparation of FEMA camps. Martial law will take place. Again, everything that this guy's discussing, I have already studied and still studying on it. I just need to get up my presentation to prepare to share it with you all. But everything that this guy's talking about is the truth. FEMA is coming. Martial law is coming. It is coming. It's basically almost right around the corner. And I have to ask my father Yahshua to forgive me for such procrastination and prolonging of being distracted, because I see where he has used other vessels to spread this truth. He's not going to wait. He give us grace and mercy, you all, but he's not going to wait too much longer when he know he got other vessels that can spread the truth, when you have been also called to do the same, but you're playing around in this muddy water. Oh, he'll move on to the next people to spread his truth. So it's a lot of these people that I have listened via social media, and I'm like, Yahshua, you told me this stuff years ago. Or Yahshua, I have already learned this. I have already been taught this through your Holy Spirit, through you teaching me this. Why? And then I say, you know why I haven't been the one to teach it? Because I have been distracted and procrastinating. And I'm not saying that for credibility. I'm just saying that this is how Yahshua works. He got his vessels to do his will. But if you don't do it, oh, do not think he won't move on to the next person who will. And who will follow him and do thus saith the Lord, as we would call it. Trust and believe. A lot of this stuff I feel like I was supposed to been taught on. But my procrastination has prolonged his will, but it's okay. I'm back at it, and I'm gonna try my best to stay back at it through his name. But yes, FEMA and martial law, he is telling the truth about. Let's keep going.
And this is the part that you want to be protected from initially. The government will come around looking to provide help and resources to all those who are hungry and desperate. There will be a roundup that will sound like it is being done for everyone's well-being. The hungry, those that were not prepared with food and water, will be the first ones to run into their arms, hoping for refuge. This may last for 2 or 3 months minimum, as they try to weed families out. Like I've said many times, the goal is to bring a new order after all of the chaos. Our goal should be to not seek refuge from them and never be a part of the desperate and the hungry. From what we just saw through the pandemic with COVID, we saw how irrational people get when they are moved through provocations of fear and desperation. They do irrational things they normally wouldn't do. When people are hungry and their children are hungry, and there is nothing that they can do, they will turn to the arms of the government. And it's the government's arm that you do not want to be led into. So understand, this planning and preparations are mostly about staying away from desperation and hunger, so you are not led into irrational situations. Just as we see with these times of COVID, they are segregating the world into 2 populations, those that are vaccinated and those that are not. They are showing us that there are conditions required for us to accept in order to be a part of their system and receive their help and support. My goal is to not ever feel that I ever need to go to them for that help. If we are prepared and have food and water in our homes, we have first aid supplies and other essential items, we keep ourselves from their initial agenda to grab up those who are not watching and who are not awake and alert. My goal is to stay in my home as long as possible, to keep my family safe inside while their needs are being taken care of. This is how I see things, and based on that view is how I am preparing. I am prepared to stay inside for at least 6 months. I never want to be, nor do I want you to be, one of those that need to go to the store for anything when you hear things start turning and changing. I want to be able to go straight home and lock up shop. Now, people often ask me, what happens after 6 months? The answer is, I don't know. I don't even know if the preparations I have now will even pan out. I don't even really think the supplies I'm gathering are really for me, to be honest. I don't know what will pan out after the first 6 months. I believe Father will provide more guidance when the time comes. I just want to be able to be ready and able to hear his voice without having the provocations of fear and desperation clouding my judgment. The biggest tool these people use against us is fear. I believe having supplies weakens that provocation of fear because we know we don't need them. So how do you prepare?
He was basically saying in this segment, why we should prepare and what to prepare with. You do not want to rely on the government, which we just spoke of dealing with FEMA after martial law takes place. You do not want to rely on government to be your resource, because all that is doing is leading you down the path of accepting the New World Order system. All it is doing is leading you down the path of accepting Antichrist and the mark of the beast. Even though that sounds like, how does that got anything to do with? I'm telling you, it's a red carpet. So that's why having your own resources and being able to go on and get these things up and going while we have the time to is a good idea to prepare and stash. I don't care if you have to stash it all across your house. If you ain't got a storage building, an attic, a basement, a garage, you better get you a room and just stash away. Because again, like he said, and I wholeheartedly agree with this fella, you do not want to rely on the government system. We do that enough as it is. And no different than COVID when it hit back in 2019, 2020. We all, well, not me. People was, I ain't gonna lie, I took the check. I sure did. I sure did take that check. But you see what happened after we all took that check. Boy, inflation rose like I don't know what. They ain't finna give us nothing for free without us having to return back and give back to them. I remember a co-worker lady of mine said that, we think we shoot. Let us think we getting something for free. We gonna pay back. And inflation is what's making us pay back with them giving out these so-called COVID checks or whatever them things was called back then. And I'm not gonna lie, being human, I did accept it. I needed it. It helped me out. It did. But look at look in return what's been going on, even though this spoken of in prophecy, but look what's been going on. Now inflation is just outrageously ridiculous. Well, it ain't no different than people relying on the COVID vaccines. That's a part, not the mark of the beast. And he even said that himself, which I already knew that, and I said that to my family doing Bible studies. I say it's not the mark of the beast, but it's a way to set up people for the mark of the beast. Because if you can fall short to this and rely on mankind, that means you will fall short to Antichrist and his schemes when he walks the scene. So it's not the mark of the beast, it's just a piece of the mark of the beast. It's another piece of the rolling carpet. They using the COVID-19 vaccine to test people as guinea pigs to see who would fall into the New World Order system. I personally feel like the Holy Spirit told me this, and I do believe he told me this. This was a way of people being tested to see if they would fall short into the New World Order system, including those who so-called believe in him. Yeah, even those who so-called believe in him. This was a test to show how much people will rely on government and man and their system. Guess what? Preparing you for the New World Order. Preparing you for the Antichrist. When he gets ready to walk the scene and play this humanitarian who has come to save the world. Oh, we got a lot to talk about, and that's part of Revelation. But let's keep going. Now he's getting ready to explain on how to prepare. Pay attention.
I do it. First thing you need is water. For each person in your home, I recommend at least 500 water bottles. This will last you about 6 months if you use 3 bottles per day. Like I said earlier, you do not need to buy this all at once. Buy 2 cases at a time or piece it together. I get mine from Costco and Sam's Club, but Walmart and Target sell the cases too. They do take up a lot of space, so what I've done is got some containers from Home Depot and I store them in there. Listen, water is important. Your body can go without food a lot longer than it can go without water. So make this a priority. Even if you can't buy all the water you need, the more you buy, the better. Trust me, water is one of the first things to go in emergencies, so it's important to own them now. Now that you have water, let's talk about food. This can be difficult because food expires. I'll tell you what I do on a budget. When this food is needed, You don't need extravagant meals. You want food to eat, period. People talk about the sodium intake on these foods, and I do agree. I do not advocate eating these foods on a regular basis today, unless you have to. But in times of an emergency, these foods will be clutch. For me, I buy a lot of ramen noodle packs. They are inexpensive and are an easy meal to cook. I buy them every time I can. This will serve you well in emergencies. People also recommend buying canned tuna, chicken, and beef, but that stuff can be expensive. If you can afford it, you should buy it. But for me, my major recommendation is buying the Chef Boyardee cans like ravioli and beefaroni. They are like $1 a can at Walmart. I normally go to the store and buy at least 12 at a time. You can take $25 or $50 extra dollars at Walmart and have a good amount of food that has a long expiration life on the shelf.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, we all know that this was a video from however many months ago or so, because we all know that Chef Boyardee's and raviolis ain't even 98 and 88 cents no more. So that lets you know that this is a video he has been set out and witnessed through and spoke and forewarned. He did this, I forgot how long ago it's been. They say 5 months ago up here, and that's because at that time when I put this video on my presentation, it was 5 months old. This video is probably older now, okay? But we already know, because of what I just spoke on, inflation has caused everything to rise. So we already know these little Chef Boyardee cans are no longer 88 cents and 98 cents. So no matter the price, I still highly recommend to buy these type of products. Again, everything, that's why I'm showing you all this, because I agree with this guy wholeheartedly on how to prepare and what to prepare with. But I just wanted to throw that out there to let y'all know that this is an old video. It's not as of today, so don't think this man is lying. It's just this was an old video that he had been put on this platform, and I'm using it. And of course, when I was using it at that time, it was 5 months old. So I can't even remember when I did this presentation. It was either last year or the year before. I can't remember. But again, you all heard me say that's what I get for procrastinating and prolonging. But yes, we already know that these cans ain't that cheap no more. So don't discredit that part. Okay, I'm gonna keep going.
Also, buy oatmeal. Quick 1-minute oatmeal. The oatmeal will serve you well for breakfast and will keep you full. Buy large bags of sugar, flour, and rice as well. Buy pasta and canned or jarred sauce. That will go a long way. These are things I buy, but you do what you can. The art to this is to buy foods that have some shelf life and won't break the bank. I have brought meats that I keep in a deep freezer, but that is not a long-term strategy. You should plan with the thought that you might not have power for a bit. Meat in freezers will go away fast, and then you'll be left with nothing. Also, you can grill meats in the beginning maybe, but as things go on and people start smelling that food coming from your house, they will know you have food, and now you have become a target. When buying supplies, buy foods with a long shelf life that you can cook inside without power. You don't have to break the bank to have food to feed your family. Now, because we are planning with the thought that we will not have power, I also recommend buying a butane stove and the butane fuel cartridges. They look like this. You can buy the stovetop for like $20, and the fuel cartridges come in packs of 4 for like $7 or $8, I believe, unless prices have gone up on them. This little stovetop will allow you to make food every day. Buy as many fuel cartridges as you can. This item will be essential because your electric stove or gas stove probably won't be working, and like I said, the grill brings attention. I gave this advice in the last video, but I want to repeat it. I know most people will tell you to get a generator, and maybe that might be important to you. I own a generator, but during these times, I don't think I would use mine. I don't want people to know I'm home and that I have power and supplies. It's not that you don't want to help people, but when you draw attention to your home, people will come and rob you. And also, you don't have enough supplies to help everyone. You need to be very careful, so using things like a generator just so you can have lights or keep the fridge and freezer on is not the best call in my opinion. This is what the unprepared will do. You don't need power, You only need light to see. So buy yourself some kerosene lamps and kerosene bottles. Buy a lot of wicks, and this is what you will use at night. Buy some candles as well. You can never have enough of these things, and they are not expensive. You can buy the lamp for $5 at Walmart and the kerosene bottles for $4 a bottle. Buy a bottle every time you go to the store. They will add up quickly. Buy some wicks. That's like $5 for one, I think. This will keep you with light, but will not draw too much attention to you. When lighting your home, you should make sure that you understand you don't want to show that you're home. So don't put the light in places where people can see at night from the street or in the backyard or wherever. All your family should sleep in the same room and away from windows, or at least block your window. Now, here are some miscellaneous things you want to have, but people sometimes forget. Toilet paper. Remember, you can't have too much of this. Buy this now. If you remember during the lockdowns, this, like water, was one of the first things to go. Also buy bleach. This will prove to be useful for many different reasons. Get first aid kits. This is what I do. Buy the first aid kits, and then whatever comes in the kit, buy it all separately as well. Don't forget laundry detergent, dishwashing soap, and remember, you don't need to buy the expensive stuff. Cheap will do. A can opener. You know how many people will buy canned goods and forget that they only have an electric can opener? Don't be one of them. Buy bars of soap. You can't have enough of this as well. Toothpaste, matches and lighter, garbage bags, Tylenol, flashlights and batteries, a weather radio, any feminine products you may need. Buy some instead. Don't forget about food and supplies for your dogs or pets. These are all things that I have. Also, don't forget board games. Have some board games and things you can play with your family. Things may get boring, so if you have a way to entertain each other, it will absolutely help. I will place a link to this list that I will put on my website. And if I think of anything else, I will update the list on my site. Another thing that should be done is for believers to buy physical Bibles. I've gone on websites like christianbook.com and I brought boxes of Bibles. Like here, you can buy a case of 40 for like $70. They don't need to be all pretty and fancy. Look, the word must be spread, and you may be alive and put on this earth during this time to simply make sure that during the Great Tribulation, people had access to Bibles.
Now, did you just not hear what he said? Did you not just hear what this guy said, that during this time, you may be the access to spread the word? And during this Great Tribulation, you will probably be the one with Bibles being able. That lets you know that us people who are believers will be here. There is not the rapture that we have been taught in Christianity churches. There is a particular type of rapture that I will explain if I haven't already. And I think I have. If you go back and look on my channel about the rapture. The truth of the rapture versus the rapture that we were taught through Christianity. He already simply said that you may need these Bibles because you might be the one here telling the truth, or you may be the one. We're not. He simply told us that we have to endure until the end. Until the end. Is the end here yet? Nope, it's right around the corner. So if that's the case, why are we still here if there was a rapture that we were taught of in Christianity religion? Wouldn't we be gone? Because we are in the beginning of sorrows. We are in the beginning of tribulation. No matter what nobody say, no matter how many people deny it, we are in the beginning of tribulation. If that was the case, since the way we were taught, we would not be here. But we are. And for those that are still living and haven't died off, whether condemned to hell or whether in rest in peace or the paradise, you're going to be here. Period. We still here. I personally feel like I wouldn't be here if that was the case. And for those who also believe and try to live the best way they can, wouldn't be here.
That never had access to them before. There are so many people that do not own a physical Bible, but use it only on their phones. If the phone goes, so does their access to the Word. And I don't believe this actual cell phone will be going away, for the world at least. But they will be tracking what you're doing on it, and I don't believe reading the Bible will be tolerated. The Word is the most important thing in the world today. It contains the power between life and death. It is a source of power that should never be able to be taken away from us. But at some point, it will be suppressed. So if you're in a position right now, buy some Bibles. Give them out to whoever Father places it on your heart to do so. You never know how Father will use you. I don't know how things will play out. I don't know what will happen. But I do believe if you are prepared for disaster, when it comes, you will have more control over your life than those that did not plan ahead. Don't put your life in the hands of the government. Even if they meant well, there are too many of us and very limited resources. It will not work out well. You do not want to be someone that needs to run to the stores when you hear there was a problem. Also, you don't need to share with everyone everything that you have and what you're doing.
You heard what he said? I know it sounds selfish, but it's the truth. You do not want to share with everyone what you're going to do or have or will be doing. You don't want to do that. Because when that time get here, people get desperate. Oh, I'm telling you, think about that movie The Purge and any other movies that's similar to that. People start getting desperate and getting haywire. That's why martial law gonna take place. But I'm telling you, he telling the truth. You don't want to tell everybody. You do not want to tell everybody what your plans are. You really don't. Because I'm going to tell you, once that stuff hit, you'll be the first one they come running to. Because it's going to be out of desperation. And then they'll probably kill just to take from you. And what you have stored up for your family. I know it sounds selfish, but it's the truth. In addition to when he said you also store up for others who are in need, though, of course, we know that in common sense, you store up for not just yourself, but to those who are genuinely and truly in need. But you're going to have some people that's wicked and evil, whether it's family, friends, or whatever, and they know about your plans. You think they ain't going to try? Man, look, let me keep going.
This is something that you keep personal with your family. The more people that know you have been stocking up, the more people that are a risk to you when desperation comes. Have conversations with everyone on what to do in case everyone is away from home and disaster strikes. Have a plan. I know many people will say that you need a gun or firearm. I did not forget to add this. For me personally, I don't believe in guns, so I don't promote them. You can disagree with that or not. That's my view. It's not law. I believe guns bring unneeded attention to you and will force authorities to your home to confiscate them. In this coming future, they do not want the public armed. Now, I don't know how they will take care of this, but I do believe it's on their agenda. Every registered gun just tells them where to come looking, and when they come, you will then have a problem either way. So for me, along with other reasons, I do not own guns. So that is not advice that I'm giving. I do have knives and machetes, but firearms I'm not an advocate for. But obviously, if you feel you want that type of protection, you should include that in your plan. Have a way to protect yourself and your family. People will be desperate and there will be crime. When all this happens, you should also get rid of your electronic devices. Your phones, computers, tablets, unplug your televisions, anything that connects to the internet. Believers will be going off grid. The way we currently live today will not be the same for us unless we join their New World Order. Those devices are trackers, and it's best not to keep them around in bulk anymore. This is important to remember during that point in time. Those devices will literally be your enemy, not a resource. It will completely allow the system to be able to listen to you and to track you. You must have in your head that you will remove these devices we have been made addicted to. We have been made to believe that we cannot live without these devices, but that's not true. The internet will not be your friend. The mindset is to live without the system and not being led to receive the mark. Be prepared to cut away from your devices, Wi-Fi, social media, etc. Anything that is connected to the web. And even though we expect a massive power failure in the United States, you don't know what the capabilities of those devices really are. Just be ready to go off their grid.
Alright, he said it. You don't want to draw attention to your home, so he told you how to do that with the cooking. That's why I was showing y'all those gas stoves, those little portable gas stoves and the candles and the lamps. Because you don't want to draw too much attention. People will, I'm telling you, it's going to get like this. You might not think it, but how come you think Hollywood is able to easily come up with these type of movies? They know that what we're up against. They know who Yahshua is. They know who the enemy is. They know about the aliens, the demons. They know about the marine kingdom with the mermaids and all. They know about all this stuff. Even though they put it in TV for entertainment, they do that, why? Like I said earlier, to keep you mind programmed into thinking this stuff is not existing and it's just entertainment. And when people like us start speaking about it, we're considered conspiracy theorists and we're talking out our heads. This stuff is stranger than fiction. But be wary and be well known that this stuff is true. They will make it to where you're not going to believe anything that the truth seekers and the truth people are talking about. They already have. But you got to, back to the link, you got to be careful. You got to be careful and try not to draw attention to these, to people who going to be wilding out in the streets and not knowing where to go. So not meaning it in selfish terms, but meaning it in protective terms for you and your family. Weaponry included. You got to be prepared for this. Like he said, technology is not going to be your friend at this time. It's not. And like he said, getting Bibles, physical Bibles, because I see a lot of churches do this now. I'm just being honest. A lot of them rely on these phones and these tablets and which ain't nothing wrong with putting it on the TV to display to the congregation. But that's being lazy. That's mentally being lazy because people feel like, well, I'm going to see it on the TV screen. I don't need my Bible. Or I got it in my phone. I don't need my Bible. I still even carry my Bible. I still even, when I do Bible studies or when I was doing it with family and at the church, I was carrying my Bible. Now, I did display certain scriptures on the screen, but I carry my Bible. Even if I am reading it off the laptop, I still read out of my Bible. And he simply said, you all need to get used to carrying your Bible because when technology shut down, your word is not going to be with you. If you don't keep it in your heart, it's definitely not going to be with you anyway. But having it physically in hand, without it being on your phone, you need a regular Bible. Now, let me go on to this last piece that I want to show y'all.
Link below for you to download. Oh, and let me repeat this again, because it is the most important point. None of this will matter if you do not have faith in Yahshua HaMashiach. You must have a personal relationship with him and commit your life to Elohim's will. He is all that matters. If you're new to my channel,
that's all I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you that little piece. You still got to have faith in Yahushua HaMashiach. He is still your source. These things that here listed are just resources to have, but he is still who you need to rely on. He is still the one that you have to look up to. But he do give us a sense of common sense and knowledge. Okay? He does do that. And now when you look to the left, to the right of the screen, you need to check this out on your own time. This one is called Time is Running Out, Get Your Houses in Order. That's also from Truth Unedited. There's something else I wanted to show you. And if you was looking, you would see why I said check this out on your own time. Get your houses in order and prepare for the collapse that's coming. I'm going to end this session on the end, preparing for the end times. This will be part 2. We will pick up on part 3 another time. But please take heed to what this guy has spoke on, dealing with how to prepare and what to prepare with, and why it's important to prepare. Until then, Facebook family and friends, and for those that are subscribed to my YouTube channel, y'all be blessed, and please wake up to reality and understand what's coming ahead of us. Take care.